Hey everybody, this is Terry from Lithos and Lasers, and today we're going to talk about how to make this Marines logo plaque. Um, Not so much on the design, but more of the engrave function and how I finish it and get it looking clean. So this is what we're going for, and I just started with an image from Google. This is my starting image. It's got a white background, and so one of the things I want to do is get rid of that white background. So I'm just going to use my magic wand. And I'm not going to select all the white, like the white in the US, but I'm going to select these layers in the center and grab these around the outside. Um, I'm going to invert my selection. So I'm selecting everything but that white right now. I'm going to edit copy. I'm going to edit paste. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to delete that layer. So now all of that white that I had is transparent. So we're not engraving it or nothing, it's being ignored. We're keeping the white in here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yellow, I turn up my selection amount. So we're going to grab this yellow bar here in the center. I'm going to make that black. Black is good. Just for quickness, I'm going to make my brush bigger. And I'm just going to go around this guy here. And that's black. All right. And then finally, I'm going to select everything. And I'm going to go image, mode, and grayscale. All right. So this is pretty much the same as the image I used last time. My ropes are a little bit cleaner or whiter last time, so if we want, I can select all those. Let's see if I can do that by selecting similar colors. I can, let's do this. Let's grab some white, make my brush a bit smaller so I don't get out of bounds here. And let's just lighten all this up. There's other ways to do this, but just trying to be quick on this part of the tutorial. I could have went in, changed my selection, deselected everything in the center. I probably could have selected this color beforehand and also went with erasing it like I did the background. What that would result in is just the all the sections of rope being unengraved at all. So just the natural color of whatever wood you're using and what stain you apply. But okay, so new, old, we're pretty much there. So I'm going to save this image out. And we're going to go Marines plaque, I think. Logo. And I'm going to save that as a PNG that we're going to engrave. Okay, over here in the Glowforge, this is kind of what we're shooting for. And we can cut 10.9. The original plaque I used, I went with 10.9 by 14 and a bit. So first off, we're just going to create a new document, a new blank design, and we're going to bring in that PNG. Now, because our document is 10.9, I'm making our logo a little bit smaller than that. I'm going to go 9.9, leave a ½ inch around it. There it is. So we're going to click on that, hit our ruler, 9.9 high, and then I'm going to rotate it to there. Now I'm going to give it a ½ inch of space. Easy way to do that. And you'll see this a couple of times, because I'm going to give it a ½ inch cube. I'm going to move that over here. I was thinking my wood is taller than that, but our outline is going to be right here with the base of this. So I'm going to give it a ½ inch at the top as well. Just copy and paste this guy with a Control C, Control V. Put that up around the center. I moved the wrong one of those cubes. If you're not sure that you're in the cut area, just set it for a cut. If it highlights red, you're good to go. If it doesn't, then you're overlapping. So go that much, and let's do one more just to make sure. All right, and we're going to ignore all these little spacers. They're not going to be cut. My engrave setting for this is a custom 3D engrave setting. The wood I'm using is a MDF core, 0.24 inch thick, whole piece face, so there's no blemishes on either side. And I use a maple or a birch in that. It's tough wood. It takes 3 passes at 124 for the cut. But I really like the weight of it. So here's our 3D engrave. Speed 400, full power, very power, 340 lines per inch. I'm going to leave this set for manual. I'm sorry, autofocus, because we're going to focus before we're done. But then we can focus now. It doesn't matter. Now, I said that we're going to be a 0.29 plaque. I'm sorry, a 10.9 high. So it's 10.9. Again, I'm going to go ahead now and set that for a cut, just to make sure that everything's red. So I'm in the lines. This guy. Oh, he's ignored. That's why he's gray now. All right, so then we want to have some room for the name that we're going to add to the bottom. So this time, I'm going to unlock this window. We were 10.9. Let's go 14.9. So that's almost 11 by 15. That looks good. Now the customer's name is I gotta go get that 1 second. All right, so I have the name. So I'm gonna go over here to Illustrator. It's a blank document, and the font I'm using is Linux Libertine Capitals. I did a Google search for a marine font, and this Linux one is the one that came up as being a good one. I'm not going to go italic. I'm just going to go capital bold. And the name, CEALLOS. We can change the size after the fact. So we've typed it out. Now we want to go up to type and create outlines. And we're going to save this guy out. I'm sorry. I do everything as PDF so that it retains the size. So we're going to export selection. Videos. And I'm going to throw that under downloads. I'm going to rotate it. Now this position here we're gonna look at in a minute. But right now I want to make sure that this is centered all the way across. So I want our text to be a bit bigger. Last time it was 1.3 inches big. So don't screw up like I just did. Turn your aspect back on. 0.3. I think that's a bit big. About 1 inch. Looks pretty good. So the next trick is we want to have this centered on our square. So let's grab this position here. And I'm going to grab this number. I'm going to grab all these pieces. And I'm going to paste that number. So we're going to be directly centered on our plaque. Now last time I put, I think, a 1/2 inch above and below the plaque. Oh, I did 1 inch. So let's do that again. So the 1 inch square. Now I was 1 inch from the top last time too, so we will also adjust that. So sometimes you start with what you want to do and then you change that up as you go. Nothing wrong with that at all. Grabbing stuff in the interface is tricky sometimes. Now if you did want something centered on the entire piece of wood, you could have pasted this number in as well, but we don't. So we want it right there. So now I'm going to take our plaque and let's bring it back up to, turn off that constraint. Copy paste. They look about like the one we did last time. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't round my corners, but we can do that still. Just click on our outline. Let's start with a 1/2 inch round, and maybe we'll go for a full. Half inch looks like what I did last time, and it looks good. What's a full inch look like? I don't know. I like that as well. But customer saw my last plaque, and that's what he liked, so I'm going to keep with the design from the last one. So, next up, we're going to duplicate this text. And we're going to, well, I'll show you what we're going to do. Going to copy, paste. Problem with copying and pasting the text right now, and doing this all as one job, is that when you copy and paste, a lot of times your settings are duplicated. So if this is a score, this is going to be a score. Yeah, we don't have another entry for that, right? So let's bring Solos back in. So I didn't really need to do this. Let's bring it over. Placement on the board does not matter. Size matters though. We want to lock our aspect ratio this time, and we had 1 inch wide letters by 75/15. Yep. All right. But now this is a different job. So this job is going to be a cut. This job is going to be a score. And I'm going to do it really light. So I'm going to do 500. And I'm going to do like 3 power. I just kind of want to see where I'm going to glue the letters. I'm also going to select these letters and just make them the tiniest bit smaller. So 99.5%. All right. So that's going to be a score. That's going to be a cut. I'm just going to put it up here, kind of by my previous one, a little bit of gap. So what's going to happen is, after this is all done, this is stained, everything's done with the plaque, I'm going to stain these, I'm going to leave these letters the natural color of the wood, and I'm going to glue them into place. There's different ways that we could have accomplished that, but that's what I'm going with this time. So all of our little spacers we can delete or we can ignore. We want to cut the outside of the plaque last. So we're going to cut that letter down there. We're going to score the letter inside. We're going to do about a 4.5 hour engrave. Or about 4 hour engrave, and then we're going to do this cut, which in this wood is going to be like a 1/2 hour as well. So, and then we're ignoring all these little spacer squares that we used. I'm just checking one more time on our spacing of this sky. I could drag it up and copy it, or I can just type a new one. think we are okay. Finally, if this was something that we were going to do many of, and we could just go up here, see this name? It's going to be kept if we export our design. Exporting our design is also going to export all of our cut settings and such. So, and by default, it just goes into your downloads folder. So, next time I can just open up this guy right here. Oops. Yeah, this SVG, and the Glowforge will know all about all of my settings because it actually. All right, I've already done my autofocus, so let's send it to the Glowforge and see how long it's going to take. I'm not set up at the moment to do a 5-hour time lapse, so I'll just record a little bit of the start, a little bit of the finish if I can catch it. But I did one of these a couple nights ago, and it was 4.5 hours, so we should be in that ballpark. Just a tip while we're waiting for that. Anytime you make a custom setting, anytime you go down here and you set something for manual, you say, okay, that's going to be 400 at 36%. You can hit this plus, and you can save that. And then that's how you end up with all of these customs that I have. So it makes it really nice next time, especially if you give it a good name, like this is for my foam core. I have another one for some keychains I was making. That guy just makes it really easy to say, this is the setting I want to use. It's ready to go. Click, click, click. So I'm going to make sure I'm still on that 3D engrave. Yep. So we'll cover it when it's time as well. But as we're still waiting, my wood is masked. I made sure it's very flat because I don't want to have any. I want to have minimal stain leaking under all of this. This little rope makes it kind of easy. Army logo is a little bit easier because it's got a solid whole gap around it. But we're going to stain this first. Then we're going to peel our masking. Now, because this globe and stuff is not white, and because there's multiple colors here, I couldn't just do something where, you know, like here. That's going to be the top surface of the wood. That's going to be pretty deep engrave. White, black. These are kind of gray, so these are going to still get hit by the laser. Might not go all the way through the paper, but what's going to happen is it's probably going to get some engraving, maybe even burn the masking off. But that's going to give us a slight color variation, and I'm going to come back and clean that up as well. Do some cleanup and some fading with some fingernail polish sanders, and so we're going to get 3 to 4 shades in this guy here. I'm going to use a nice cognac stain on our plaque, and then I'm going to throw a layer or 2 of triple thick from Rust-Oleum on there to give it a nice gloss. All right, so we are 5 hours and 8 minutes for this engrave. So I'm going to go start that. All right, I've already done my autofocus, so let's send it to the Glowforge and see how long it's going to take. I'm not set up at the moment to do a 5-hour time lapse. So I'll just record a little bit of the start, a little bit of the finish if I can catch it. But I did one of these a couple nights ago, and it was 4.5 hours. So we should be in that ballpark. There's a tip while we're waiting for that. Anytime you make a custom setting, um, anytime you go down here and you set something for manual, you say, okay, that's going to be 400 at 36%. You can hit this plus, and you can save that. And then that's how you end up with all of these customs that I have. So it makes it really nice next time, especially if you give it a good name, like this is for my foam core. I have another one for some there's some keychains I was making. That guy just makes it really easy to say, this is the setting I want to use. It's ready to go. Click, click, click. So I'm going to make sure I'm still on that 3D engrave. Yep. So we'll cover it when it's time as well. But as we're still waiting, my wood is masked. I made sure it's very flat because I don't want to have any. I want to have minimal stain leaking under all of this. This little rope makes it kind of easy. Army logo is a little bit easier because it's got a solid whole gap around it. But we're going to stain this first. Then we're going to peel our masking. Now, because this globe and stuff is not white, and because there's multiple colors here, I couldn't just do something where, you know, like here. That's going to be the top surface of the wood. That's going to be pretty deep engrave. White, black. These are kind of gray, so these are going to still get hit by the laser. Might not go all the way through the paper, but what's going to happen is it's probably going to get some engraving. Maybe even burn the masking off. But that's going to give us a slight color variation. And I'm going to come back and clean that up as well. Do some cleanup and some fading with some fingernail polish sanders. And so we're going to get 3 to 4 shades in this guy here. I'm going to use a nice cognac stain on our plaque, and then I'm going to throw a layer or two of triple thick from Rust-Oleum on there to give it a nice gloss. All right, so we are 5 hours and 8 minutes for this engrave. So I'm going to go start that,